Good morning. Good morning. It's a little bright. There we go. Welcome into Venator Trading, Tuesday, July 25th. It is 7 a.m. New York time. Good morning to everyone here stateside. Good afternoon to those on the other side of the pond. And good evening to everyone on the other side of the world. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you tuning in every day and sitting here hunting trophy buck setups. That's what Venator means. It's Latin for hunter. That's what we do here every day. We sit and we wait and we hunt for our setups to appear. And so I'm glad you guys are along for the ride. New intro. What'd y'all think? Courtesy of our new sponsoring partner, Bespoke Funding. I think it looks pretty nice. But yeah, still waiting on our kind of new graphic overlay for all of this stuff over here, all of the text, just to make it clean it up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. They're still working on that, so we'll see what they come up with. But I like it. I think it looks great. Also, if you haven't yet seen, let me go ahead and put this up. This right here is the post that you need to go like and subscribe, like, retweet, and comment. Like, retweet, and comment on that Twitter post, and that will get you into the 10K account giveaway that we're doing starting tomorrow. Chat voted yesterday, and so we are giving away one $10,000 account Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday each day. So you have all day today and then a little bit of tomorrow. If you don't make it tomorrow, it's fine. You've got a chance on Thursday and Friday as well. But you do have to be present on the stream to win the 10K account giveaway with Bespoke Funding. So make sure you like, retweet, and comment on that Twitter post. So good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Let me hit over here to the chat. Bialamansky, Corey, John, Adrian, Pedro from Portugal. Hey, man. Kenneth, Beeswax, Chalak, good morning. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to destroy this. From Zambia, Sikumbuso. I hope I said that right. Over Playful, Surya Dev, hey. I don't know, man. We might get our setup. You never know. It could happen. Zara Entertainment, good morning. Peter, hey, good morning, man. A breaker block setup on GU. Potentially, we'll jump over there in just a second. Red Ezekiel, hello. Chase, hey. New intro is nice, says Corey. I agree, Corey. It looks pretty nice. Danny, good morning. Andy, yo, and Muhammad, hey. Glad you guys are here. Welcome into the stream. Who was that? Peter. So, breaker block setup. I was looking at this just before we got on the stream a little bit earlier. And what I see is we did get a run on buy-side liquidity. What I don't see is this run on liquidity started down here. So for me on GU, getting into analysis right away, we're not wasting any time today. Your breaker block is right here. And this candle, this second up close, or this candle right here, this up close candle needed to have closed outside of that breaker. So I don't have a valid setup. Now, technically, I guess you could have used this breaker or, this last down I cannot talk. Last down close candle. But look at the 30-minute time frame. You see this? So here's your run on liquidity here and here. Where did this quick stab up begin? It started, here's your swing, right? This is why when you get down on the lower time frames, you can get kind of chopped up, because you have to think of things from a higher time frame perspective. And to do that, you need to jump up on the 30-minute, on the 1 hour. Again, you can see, where did this swing start? It started down here. So I would not be looking at getting short just yet on GU. Not that you can't. If you were using this breaker here, then it still didn't close outside of that breaker. It closed back inside. You would probably have to jump up and try to use this one. And then it didn't even give you a 50% entry there. So for me, I'm using these bottom candles, because when you look at the higher time frame, it's very clearly, this is your swing level up into liquidity from this area right here. So until we get displacement below there, there's no opportunity. There's no trade set up for me on GU. EU, clean, kind of similar. It ran liquidity. EU has taken out yesterday's low. GU has not taken out yesterday's low. So EU is definitely a lot weaker, but it also ran some buy-side liquidity and then displaced. And where did this run on liquidity begin? Well, it began right there. It came back up to the breaker and then fell away. It did not get back up to your fair value gap, unfortunately. So now we are pretty far down into these fair value gaps now from last week. So we've almost completely retraced back down to the first big order block here. I was expecting price to draw down into this area at least, and it has, and it's continued even lower. Is today the low of the week? Maybe. We don't know. We're just kind of watching and waiting. We're coming into the last trading week of the month, and you can see here it's trying to close with a fairly large rejection off of that weekly imbalance on the euro dollar. Filled it in completely and then just pulled off. So we've been super bullish, and now we're definitely, if you look at the 4 hour on the euro, we've changed structure shift, change of delivery. We're bearish. We're making lower lows, lower highs, all the way down. But on the higher time frame, on the daily and on the weekly, we're just now pulling back into your discount of this leg up and approaching the OTE. So remember, higher time frame, we're bullish. So daily and weekly, we're bullish. So even though the 4 hour bullish on daily, 4 hour is bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 15-minute is bearish. So somewhere potentially around the OTE, we're in a discount. All right, so this is where we're looking. If we're going to trade in line with the higher time frame bias, which is on the daily and the weekly, we're bullish. We could start anticipating somewhere around here a change in delivery. So we'll just have to watch and wait. But currently, it's definitely bearish on these lower time frames. So we could still be going down a little bit. GU, similar setup. Again, the daily is very bullish on the daily. We're just now back into the OTE area. Tapped into it yesterday, that little red line. It could come down a little bit farther, but it's basically filled in now all of the imbalances that it left behind from the last week and a half. So this could be a potential turn here as well. 4 hour, similar setup on the 4 hour where we are making lower lows and lower highs all the way down. And now we're starting to base out into a little bit of an accumulation here. This order block right here so far has held up. And this is a great example of if you were looking for an entry on GU, wick to body. Wick to bodies typically are the most sensitive areas of the order block. And if it's going to, typically if it's going to be a supporting order block, in this case, a supporting order block, that wick to body area tends to be where the reactions occur. So, for instance, on this 4 hour time frame here, there's your wick to body, and you can see the reaction off of that. If you come down, there it is. This, all of these candles are your bearish order or your bullish order block. You had this down move, change of structure. We've come back down into it, and it's holding up nicely, this little 4 hour order block. So we will wait and see what it gives us. When was this? Oh. All right. Let's jump back over here into the charts, see who else popped in. Good morning, Mr. Alfie. Currently in a sell on GU, but not doing great. Would appreciate your thoughts. Just kind of talked through GU a little bit. It did grab buy-side liquidity here overnight, and has displaced some, but it did not displace below the breaker yet. So on the 30-minute time frame, we identified these two down close candles as where the run on liquidity began. You want to see displacement down below here. And the reason it's struggling to get past here is this is the top of that 4 hour, big 4 hour order block on GU. So, you know, it could struggle quite a bit to make more lows here. But if we get displacement down through this level, you could potentially use this as a breaker if GU wants to go lower. But we're in a discount on the daily time frame. We're in the OTE, the optimal trade entry on the daily time frame. We're at a 4 hour bullish order block on the 4 hour time frame. So with all of that, you just need to be ready that GU could turn here. But we'll watch and we'll wait. We're going to wait for our confirmations, and we'll look at the other pairs in correlation with both, and we'll be patient. If it checks all the boxes, then we'll take a trade. Mohammed, I'm in GU buy, but it's coming back to entry. I think I might have to close that out. Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to see things a little bit differently. So if it fits your system, and you're trading your rules, then stick with your trade. So if you're at break even and it comes back to entry, then it closes itself out. You need to have some very clear trade management rules. Once you're in a trade, what happens next? What are the decisions that you need to make after you're into a trade? For this system that we use right here, the only decision we have to make, and it's not even really a decision, it's just a moment in time that the decision is made for us when to move to break even. So once all of the decision making basically comes in to play before you ever take a trade for this system. Once you're in a trade, the rules say it's either going to hit your stop loss when it moves to 1.5 R or right around 1.5R, you move to break even, or you hit your, and at that point, it's either going to take you out at break even or it's going to hit your full take profit. So it's either a small loss, it's either a break even, no profit, no loss, or it's a full take profit. There's no other decision making to be had in this system. Now, for your systems, this is where a lot of traders mess it up, man. This is where a ton of mistakes happen, is in trade management once you're in a trade, because you start feeling that pain of, oh, it's in drawdown, I should just close it out early, or oh, I'm in a little profits, it's starting to come back, I should take the little profits I have. This is where this is where you really mess up, because you've got to let your trades play out. If you have the data that says this setup has a win rate of, I don't know, 50%, 60%, or 40%, whatever it is, whatever your win rate is, you have to let those trades play out. You have to. Your win rate, your risk reward ratio, and your risk management. Those three things create your edge. And for you to be consistently profitable, you have to let those trades play out. So if you don't have a defined set of rules for how you're going to manage your trades once you're in a position, you have got to work on that. You've got to nail that down. It is so important to have a very clear, defined set of rules that dictate how you're going to manage a trade. That's really what this business is all about. This business truly is about you being a system operator. That's it. You are a boring systems operator. You follow your rules. If it checks off, you do this. If it doesn't check off, you do nothing. If it checks off and you get into a trade, now you go to these set of rules and you follow these set of rules, and you just let the trade do whatever it's going to do. So make sure you guys have a very clear set of rules to manage your trades. Good afternoon, Bilamansky from Nigeria. New intro looks dope. Love it. Awesome. I agree. Good morning. Mode Naf. I'm not sure if I said that wrong, but that's the way I'm going to say it. Mohammed, we have news today. We have some consumer confidence coming out. Good morning, Deadpool. Good morning, David. All of the huntsmen. Usually you say huntsman, David. I'm fine if you say Venators. Obviously, brand everything. But I kind of like seeing your huntsman up there every day. Michael D, good morning. Is this the Michael D from Denmark? Because if it is, did you change? Did you change your profile? Candle Slayer, good morning. EU now discount, but DXY must be premium to look for a reversal. Correct me, please. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. It's inside of this breaker block right here on the daily time frame. So pretty much anywhere. So these two down close candles right here are your daily breaker. 1 and 2. This daily breaker runs up, clears out liquidity. We stalled, and then we've displaced down. It could stall out anywhere in here. Alternatively, you could use this breaker right here and wait. That would get you back into a premium level on the dollar. It's almost at that premium level right now, and you do have a very clear volume imbalance right in here for your draw on liquidity. So you've got all that. I'm going to take all this stuff off up here just to clean this up a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I would be interested to know what happens if the dollar gets up. First of all, what happens right when we get into that 50% level of this last leg down inside that volume imbalance? And if it gets above there, what happens at this inverted daily fair value gap right here? It's inside of a fair value gap there and an inverted one there. So now that this fair value gap here was a great support level previously, it's been busted through aggressively. It's at the bottom of that breaker. So I'm this is kind of the area I'm looking at on dollar. If it wants to turn, maybe that's today, maybe it's tomorrow. If it wants to go lower from here and pull back, now create a higher low off of this swing level somewhere in here, I think. So it could turn around right here. It doesn't have to. It could use this daily breaker that we identified just a minute ago. It's obviously inside of fair value gap, but that volume imbalance definitely looks like the current drawn liquidity. So we could have a little bit of lower price action there. GU bullish breaker on the 15-minute. I don't, if you're talking about these up close candles here, again, you didn't get displacement. And if you counted this as your breaker, your entry would have been right here. If you're talking about these three and you're looking at the price going up, these up close candles, we ran liquidity just after midnight, kind of displaced up. It came back down into it, and then it moved up higher. But this GU has been bearish for the entire week and last week. Well, at the end of last week, and then the first 2 days today. So this is where I would be more inclined to be bearish here. If you're going to be bullish, you're going to want to see some displacement here. It's already grabbed some sell side liquidity, so it would need to displace up above this level. Or it needs to grab some liquidity here and then displace above these candles to be bullish for me. This down here is not a bullish breaker. You didn't grab liquidity off of this run right here. It would have needed to tap into this swing level here. The 4-hour breaker block on GU, the 4-hour breaker. Well, it's not a 4-hour breaker, it's an order block. The 4-hour order block right here. This big down close candle. And then it was traded through. So I guess, this is the order block that I have identified here that is in a discount close to the OTE level, which it's already tapped. It tapped it, was that yesterday? Yeah. Yesterday morning, it tapped into that OT level. And then it just chopped, and it's continuing to chop and now moves sideways. So this is the big 4-hour order block that GU is having some trouble with currently. You're starting to see it move down through this level now. It didn't displace here. It's trying to a little bit. There's no real clear fair value gap inside of this level. So not a super clean look. GJ, if we're looking at GJ here, again, you've got your run on liquidity. Very clear run on liquidity, stab up. Failed to displace through. Where did this run on liquidity begin? It would be down here. If you jump up to a 30-minute, probably these candles, these 3 down close candles ran liquidity, but we failed to displace through there. You could say this was a run on liquidity. These down close candles initiated this push up above here to take out some of these short-term intermediate swing highs. So if you get some displacement down on GJ, you might be able to target one of these areas here for some displacement there. Good morning, good evening, Satria. Welcome in. Satria, how is the 10K challenge that you won going? I would love to hear an update. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. I just want to know how you're doing. I'm in 6% drawdown, so there you go. Don't be, if you're in drawdown, it doesn't matter. Everybody goes into drawdown. Candle Slam talking about monthly premium discount because we now at the last week before the close candle. Yeah. Venator Tribe. What's up, Marlon? Aditya, daily I think of taking only one trade, then I'm taking 10 trades, breaking my rules, which result in violating my account and breaching my drawdown. How do I avoid that? I mean, ultimately, it's there's nothing that's going to stop you. There are some firms now that are offering an account protector, basically. And it's just some software that you can put in. Basically, you know, it keeps you from blowing your account on any one day. And it could, I'm not sure how they have it set up, but they probably have it set up where you can put in a max number of trades allowed. And once you hit that, it won't let you take any more trades that day. I'm sure you can probably set it up to where you have a percentage loss. When that gets hit, it shuts your account off for the day and you can't take any more trades. So there's different ways to do it, but ultimately it comes down to growing up and making a mature, wise decision. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying that as it's a self-discipline problem. You don't have mastery of your mind and you don't have mastery of yourself, and you're letting your emotions dictate your responses. You are letting fear and greed control you. And you've got to get to a place where you're not going to let those alarms that your subconscious is blaring in your head. You've got to understand that they're false alarms. You're not in pain. You're not in danger. This is not a race. This is a business. So you have to treat it and make good business decisions. And just because candles are moving is not an opportunity for you to push a button and hope you make a profit. Hope is the worst strategy in the world. It's going to destroy your challenges and your accounts. So, I mean, honestly, the best advice I can give you is commit and follow through. Commit and follow through. You have to decide, I'm only going to take one trade today. Then be super picky about where and when that trade should happen. And it may not happen. But if you take a trade, shut your chart, walk away, and forget about it. You've just got to commit and you've got to take action. You've got to follow through on what you say you're going to do. You have to stop breaking promises that you have made to yourself. You have got to stop it. You're going to continue to just ram your head into an immovable wall over and over and over again. It's not going to break. You are going to break. So you just have to stop. You have to stop. And it's just a personal decision to say, I'm tired of losing. I need to do the opposite of what I have been doing, basically. If I feel like I need to take a trade, then that's a losing thought. That's a failed challenge thought process. So you have to do the opposite and say, you know what? I'm not going to take a trade. I've already taken my trade today. Every loss is a lesson. And so I'm going to learn my lesson today. I'm going to go back. I'm going to review it tomorrow. I'm going to sit down again, and I'm going to get one opportunity. And I'm going to challenge myself to be patient and wait and take the best setup that I can find. All right, we're getting some displacement here down through our breaker. We have a little bit of a fair value gap. Depending on how this next 15-minute candle closes, we may, again, it's at the top of this order block, so we need to be cautious. But we might be able to catch a short here on GU. We'll wait and see. We do have some, let's see, with the news coming out today at, when does that news hit? That news hits at 9 a.m. No, 10 a.m. is the CB consumer confidence. It's not one that I avoid. I will trade through the CB consumer confidence report when it comes out. If we have a trade set up, I will not avoid that. Let me get back over here. Cisco, hey, I can't watch today. Just dropping by to say good luck and like the stream. We'll be back later or tomorrow. Thanks for dropping in, Cisco. Appreciate you being here. Citri, I took a loss last week, still at 1%. You're in profit. No rush, no time limit. Way to go. Ghost, how's your trade? How's your challenge going? Love to hear an update on your 10K account that you won a couple weeks ago. Citri says, another loss on Monday. I think it's not a good idea to trade on Monday. I wholeheartedly agree. I think Mondays... Not that you can't find a trade setup. It's my least profitable day to find a trade setup. So I typically try to avoid Mondays if possible. If it were up to me, I would trade Tuesday through Friday every week. But I will be here on the live stream every day. Mondays will just be probably shorter streams like it was yesterday. I need to see... we got anything going on this morning? Nothing super pressing. We can stay on probably till at least 9:30 today. We'll see. How much do you risk for 10K account? Modenoff, I risk 2% per trade. But I do not recommend anyone risk 2% per trade unless you have 100 live trades in the market and you have the data that shows you what your win rate is, what your average risk reward ratio is over those 100 trades, what your maximum losing streak is, what your maximum winning streak is. Once you have all of that data, that becomes your statistical edge in the marketplace, and so you can decide what your risk profile can be. For me, I use my max losing streak over the last 100 trades to determine how I'm going to what percentage I'm going to risk for my challenges. So that's how I approach that. All right, here on GU, we've got about 9 minutes left on this candle. It's coming down again back into this 4-hour order block. We're starting to get some displacement off of this run of liquidity here. Dollar is climbing higher. Volume imbalance right up here. US 30, super choppy right now. Again, another moonshot yesterday. It just is what it's doing. It's just huge bounce, consolidation, huge bounce, consolidation. So we'll see if that continues. On the daily time frame, it has grabbed the last little bit of liquidity here yesterday. So your next level that you're interested in on the daily is up here. And then you've got here, and then your all-time highs So we will see how US30 wants to respond. It's just been on a super aggressive run up, taking out all of the buy side liquidity here with no pause. Basically, one little pause Friday, but I mean, it just has resumed. It never retraces. It just kind of pauses and then it just rips, pause, and there's been no pullback on US30. Gold getting quite the displacement down here on gold. This is the chat pair. Obvious run on sell side liquidity down here. If you're looking at the higher time frame, oops, sorry, we came right back up into this daily breaker and we have fallen back. So it'll be interesting to see if it wants to retest that low there. I'm going to drop a little line on that. We'll drop down to our 4 hour. See run liquidity. If we can displace through that, that would be a nice little breaker on the 4 hour time frame. Running liquidity, if it displaces through there, you could see that as a way to what is, oh, okay, this is the level. I was confused about what this was down here. The Gilded Gal, man, just rips one way, rips the other way. This is it just treats you so poorly, and this is where you see the manipulation. It's just super manipulated one way or the other. It very rarely moves super smoothly. You would identify something back up in here. There was a small liquidity grab right here on gold, but this is the one that took out the high. It failed to make a new high and then it displaced down. So you could either use and look at this down close candle here. You could use this one, or you could use that one right there. I think I would tend to use this one here personally. Your stop's probably going to be above the high anyway, but there's a nice looking fair value gap. There's one above it, and there's one below it. I would just target probably an entry just right in the middle of the breaker. And again, I would put my stop up there. It has tapped into that sell side. It's taken that out. The low here, 1953.20. And this is 1953.14. So just a few cents below. It did take out that low. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on there. 4 minutes left on this candle here. This 30-minute breaker with this fair value gap, with this order block. I'm kind of liking this setup on GU right here. We've got another, let's see, 3 more minutes there. Ghost says, I took only one trade, the one from last Friday. Ah, you took that one with me. Sorry about that. So I'm at 2% for the moment. The plan is respected, and we're going to go all this up. You got it. My NU cells are finally moving. Good job, Corey. NU is New Zealand dollar, USD, NZD, USD. Trading night, hello, welcome in. Moby Dick, last week I closed my gold short too early. I think I always do this. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. You've got, again, I just said this earlier, Moby Dick, you've got to stick to your rules about how to manage a trade. And if you don't have trade management rules, then you need to stop what you're doing and make sure you write down your trade management rules. So important. So important. That's how you get unstuck. Maybe you mistook it for EU. Shadow. I think Corey was in NU cells earlier. Andy, sometimes I have a good setup, but I hesitate to execute, and then it goes in my direction perfectly. And advice. If the setup checks off your criteria, you have to execute. You can't hesitate. That's fear. You're letting fear dictate your decisions. And so you've got to ignore the false alarms that are going off inside your head. I'm going to set up this GU trade. What is this? Well, as I say that, it's trying to close back up inside that breaker. We'll just watch. If it closes inside that breaker, there's no trade for me. It could still get a setup on the 30-minute time frame. Close just outside of it. I'm going to wait for the 30 minutes to close there because I don't like that it did not give a bearish candle close there on the 15. I would have preferred to see this bearish candle close right there, or at least close further down outside of that breaker. So we're not going to take that GU setup right there. I will wait for the 30-minute candle to close, and then we'll see if this 30-minute candle closes down and it leaves that fair value gap, we might have a setup there on the 30-minute to work with. Good morning, Metro. And you see it happen sometimes. Personally, I trade only EU. It's good to have just one pair to watch. You get very, very comfortable with how that pair moves. You get comfortable with how it responds to news. You get comfortable just seeing it, and you kind of get in the flow state a little bit better when you just watch one pair. Bianca says, Moby Dick, look into low resistance liquidity and high resistance liquidity. That will help you know where liquidity is and where the market is going. Knowing where your draw on liquidity is super important. You have to determine where is price reaching for. What's the liquidity that price is reaching for? We'll see how this 30-minute candle closes out here. On GU. EU, there's really no clean play here. It already tapped into the breaker up here. It would need to pull back. If it pulls back this far, it means it's violating all of these bearish PD arrays, and that would not be a great entry, seeing as that hour took out sell side on that displacement. So again, we're in that, this green line is the 50% discount of the daily leg here on EU. So price could continue lower down to this OTE level, but it also could just find some support here and start its reversal. Venator seems you do just 1 to 3 or 4 RR. I do 1 to 2 RR every single trade. 1 to 2 RR. I go for the low, easy hanging fruit. I do not try to capture huge, massive moves. I just look to consistently take twice as much as I win. I mean, twice as much as I lose. So when I win, more than 50% of the time, I win. The trades win. So we're in a three trade losing streak. My maximum losing streak over the last 100 trades is 4 in a row. So I risk 2% and I go for 1 to 2. I actually do 2.1 just to cover the cost of commissions and the cost of the trade so that I get a true 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. My stop loss is your TP 28079. Well, you know, you could be right. This could be just a grab of liquidity and we get displacement higher. So we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see. This 4-hour order block is definitely acting as a very strong point of support for GU right now. So another reason why I'm not super inclined to get short right away. We're just going to watch and see how that 30-minute candle closes out. 15-minute swing low was my TP, and I took from the top in the LO. Cool, Satchu. Good job. Shadow trades. Wow, that's cool. Honestly, most of us keep chasing more RR. Yes, that is correct. A lot of traders keep trying to hit 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6. What really happens is they get into a trade and they get up 1 to 2 and they take off half of their position. And then they try to get all the way to 1 to 4, but it's not a true 1 to 4. It ends up, or a 1 to 5, whatever it is, they take profits along the way, typically. There's very few traders that can get into a trade and just hold it for a 1 to 5, a 1 to 6, a 1 to 8, whatever, they're going to be taking profits out along the way. And I used to trade like that. And what I found was my average risk reward ratio was just over 1 to 2, like it was like 1 to 2.25, 1 to 2.3. But the stress that comes with trying to manage a trade for that long and to capture that much reward to get a big move in the market, you're only making just a little bit more profit as you take profits along the way than if you just took the full position off of the table at 1 to 2. You're done. You don't have to manage anything else. You don't have to worry about what price is going to do. You don't have to sit there and try to make subjective decisions as a bullish candle prints and then a bearish candle prints and what should I do now? The decision's made. 1 to 2, grab the low-hanging fruit, take a bite, be full, and move on to the next day and look for some more low-hanging fruit. That really is kind of the best, in my mind, the best way to, especially if you're struggling and you're trying to reach profitability, just consistently pull out 1 to 2. You can do that. You can find 1 to 2 setups several times a week, depending on how many pairs you watch and what strategy you're using. 1 to 2. The fruit at the bottom of the tree tastes just as good as the fruit at the top of the tree, and you don't have to risk the climb all the way up there to get it. Just reach up, take a little bite, and be done. That's all you need. That you'll make plenty of money managing a $2 million account. You'll make more money than you can probably spend. Deadpool, more RR equals more drawdown. Yep, you're right. Why not bullish on GU? I'm not necessarily not bullish on GU. I'm not bullish. I'm not bearish. The 4-hour time frame, the 1-hour time frame, the 30-minute time frame, they're all bearish. But on the daily, we've reached down below the discount. We've tapped into the 50%, the OTE, and we've tapped into the 4-hour order block. So it could be bullish here. And if it wants to be, we're going to need to see a change of delivery. So we're just watching and waiting. It could drop lower. The dollar, it's Tuesday. Is this the high of the week? Or is this just a little pullback from the overnight so that it can continue up towards this volume imbalance? If this volume imbalance on the DXY is the draw on liquidity, then that would mean we probably have a little more room to go down here on GU. But we're just watching and waiting. This 15-minute, this breaker right here, we traded through, came back up. We finally traded back through it again. If we're going to be bullish here, we're going to need to see displacement above this high. So, but I was about to set this order up on the 15-minute, and then this candle in the last like 20 seconds went from down here all the way up right to the bottom of that breaker, and I just didn't like the way that moved. I want to see, after you get the candle that displaces, the next candle, you don't want it to close back inside that breaker, and that's just too close for me. So I had said if the 30-minute candle can close outside, then we might have a setup, and it does not look like it wants to do that at all. So we're just chilling and waiting. We will see what price gives us. GU, look at that, pulling back now. So it's almost back into that breaker. I'm not calling this trade. I'm so burned by the Gilded Gal. I will use this strictly as a data point. But you've grabbed buy side liquidity, you've displaced lower. The other reason I wouldn't call this is that it's already taken out the buy or the sell side liquidity down here. It's already tapped into it, and now it's reversing back up off of that pretty aggressively. So this is why I hate I hate trading gold. It's so manipulated and it's so whippy. It just is not a fun. I mean, it gives you a wild ride, and you're going to find out typically real fast what's going to happen. But very often, it just likes to slap you around. Muhammad says, I used to do Judah swing with 4 to 5R, but the stress was serious. I needed to manage my trades always. Most of the time, it goes to 2R, then hit stop loss. I couldn't make the decision if I should stay in or break even. Yep, that's why you have to write down what are your trade management rules. What are you going to do? It needs to be already decided what you're going to do when you get into a trade before you get into a trade. You need to know before that trade is executed what happens after this trade is executed. Where do I move to break even? If you take partials, where do I take a partial? I don't move stop loss. Some people like to move their stop loss. So once it gets so far into profit and they don't take partials, they just move their stop loss. Whatever your system is, you need to have a clearly defined set of rules that are pre-decided what you're going to do, so that when you're into a trade, there's nothing to think about. You just follow the instructions. That's it. Just follow the instructions that you've already got written down. This system is so relaxed, I don't have to consistently make decisions to manage trades. You're exactly right. All the decision making is done for you. Once the trade is executed, you don't have to do anything else. You set an alert for your break-even line, and then the trade's going to do whatever the trade's going to do. I don't know why I deleted all that. I think I had said, where was that? So we're about to get a closure down below here on the 30-minute. It did leave a tiny fair value gap right here. And it looks like it's going to close inside that breaker. So that's a no-go for me on GU. So I want to take that off right there. Even if it comes back in and respects that breaker, that's a no trade for me, only because this closed back inside that breaker right there. So twice on the 15-minute time frame. Even if it respects this and continues to drop, no trade for me on GU there. If we get some bullish displacement higher here, then we might be able to get long. But you can see GU starting, especially on the higher time frame, we're starting to move sideways here. We've come down off of this, these V-shaped patterns, descending V-shapes. So lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And now it's just winding up and accumulating. Kudos Bro says, hi, you reckon NASDAQ short is valid after displacement to the downside, followed by tapping into the fair value gap aligned with the breaker? This run on liquidity right here began down here. So you would need on the 15-minute time frame, there's no breaker up here currently. It would need to grab liquidity and then displace lower. But right now, this is the order block that would need to be violated on the downside. This right here. If this order block, currently it's being respected, it tapped right into that order block and it's currently running higher on NAS. But if this were to be broken through, if this were to grab some more liquidity and then break through, then you would look at one of these order blocks here to be violated. But currently, it tapped into the top of that order block right there, the 15-minute. Again, wick to body. If it's going to be respected, typically it's between the wick to the body. Taps into the wick of that order block and has pushed price higher there. Again, not the strategy that I'm focused on with this trading system, but it is one that I use on my other accounts. The fruit at the top of the tree tastes just as good at the fruit at the bottom. No need risking to get to the top when you're a stretch away. That's right. Tweet it out, man. Red says, yeah, I'm following my rules, but I'm struggling to choose my bias as most often what I experience is not all time frame aligned with the same trend. Any tips? You need to pick one time frame for your bias for the day. Well, there's two ways I go about determining my bias. One is, what's the draw on liquidity for the daily / weekly? So the higher time frame, what's the draw on liquidity that we're on for the daily or for the week? So if our draw on liquidity is bullish and the daily is bullish, but the 4-hour is bearish, the 1 hour is bearish, then I need to wait for a liquidity run that goes bearish and then displaces bullish. That is in line with the higher time frame. So try to find, for me, I use the daily and weekly. What's the daily and weekly draw on liquidity? If I'm neutral, let's say I'm neutral, it's already hit my draw on liquidity and now I don't know where it wants to go from there. I will use a 4-hour time frame to what's the current trend, and then I'd try to find a trade in line with that current trend. So again, if you're bearish, then the first move should be, if you have a bearish bias, your first move should be to the buy side. It's going to grab liquidity to the buy side, and then it's going to displace lower. All right. If you're bullish, your first move is going to be a run on liquidity to the sell side, and then it's going to displace higher. So you just have to pick what higher time frame are you going to use, and it can be the 1 hour, it can be the 4-hour, it can be the daily, it can be the weekly. You just need to decide what time frame are you going to use when you sit down to trade to determine where your draw on liquidity is. Just pick one of them, a 4-hour, daily, weekly. It could be, I wouldn't probably go more lower than 1 hour, but maybe just look at the 4-hour and say, where on the 4-hour time frame, where's the next draw on liquidity? Where does price want to move to? I'm going to try and find a trade on the 15-minute time frame that's in the direction of my 4-hour bias. If the 4 hours in a downtrend, then you should be short bias. Bias seems to trick a lot of people up. People are always like, if I just knew what the bias was for the day, if I knew that it was going to be bullish all day, then I could make a ton of money. That's not true. You can know ahead of time where the bias is going to be, and you can still screw it up. I've done it many times. Just because you have the bias correct does not mean you can get your entry correct or your stop loss placement correct or your trade management correct. Should liquidity grabs only take place within kill zones or not necessarily? They don't necessarily have to take place within kill zones, but often they do. Probably more often than not, they do. The displacement should happen in the kill zone for sure. So if it grabs, a lot of times it'll happen in the London kill zone. You'll get the grab of liquidity. And then between London and New York, you won't get much. And then New York will give you the displacement to participate. Into the 8 o'clock hour here. And yeah, now we're just waiting to see if we get any kind of setup to play out. GU or GJ is giving us some displacement lower here now. So you've had this run on liquidity. Interesting here. This down move consolidated this last little candle, and then we get displacement up, grab liquidity, and we're displacing lower. And we've been pretty much moving sideways for GJ for a while now, several days. We're still inside Monday's candle, and Monday's candle is still inside Friday's candle. And Friday, last week's candle is inside the week prior. It's just, look at that. Like, that's crazy. Here's 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, and the current week. And we're just, you can see we're just also accumulating and just kind of winding up inside there as well. But on the lower time frame, you've had a run on liquidity and you've had displacement lower after you grab that liquidity. So it's like this whole thing is, you just had all of these down consecutive candles. You could potentially look at as close to 50% of this move would put you back up into here. But you'd have to put your stop way up here. And then your TP would have to be way down here. And that's a pretty chunky move to have to wait for it to play out. Not ideal. I was trying to see if there was a 10-minute breaker under here, but no, it would still be up here, and you would still have to use this fair value gap right there. It gives you a 30, basically a 32 pip stop. So that would not be great. Again, here's what this is your breaker. And right inside is your fair value gap. You do have draws on liquidity under way down here. It's already taken out buy side right here. There's another. This run on liquidity began down here. These 3 down close candles initiated that run on liquidity, and we're starting to get displacement now on the 30-minute below here. And on the 15-minute, you might be able to use that. But we need to see how this candle closes out if we want to use this lower breaker. That might give us a tighter entry. Because then you could, let's see here. It's a little bit better. Something like that. Dollar is pulling off of its high, pulling back into the overnight run up here. Pull a fib off the London session low to our current swing high. And this is where you would anticipate the dollar coming back down, retracing. Small little volume imbalance here. Tiny little volume imbalance right there. Look at that gold. It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Somebody says dollar Swiss. We'll take a look. See what we see. Where is the 8 cap? Am I missing it? Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. I've had to change the structure here on the dollar Swiss. Higher high, higher low. We've made a higher high. We're coming back down. We're sitting at the bottom of that order block. You've run liquidity and displaced higher. You're coming back down into this bullish order block right here. Wick to body. You can see it respecting it right there. The wick to the body of that order block. You've run liquidity here. You failed to displace above here. So these up close candles are what ran liquidity, and we have failed to displace above that on the 30-minute. We have failed to displace above it on the 15-minute. So currently there's no breaker here currently. It's just moving sideways. You're going to need to see, if this is going to be bullish, you want to see displacement up with a fair value gap left behind. That should have happened here. Once we grabbed liquidity here underneath these lows, you saw the quick return back up, but it failed to displace above this high. So there's no breaker block in there. Dollar CAD. 4 hour, we're moving sideways on dollar CAD here. We've grabbed liquidity here. We failed to displace, and now we're just moving sideways on the 4 hour. Grab liquidity here. We've tapped into liquidity there, and right here, we've tapped into liquidity. So this move up initiated this run on liquidity, and then we displaced higher. This move up ran liquidity, and then we displaced higher. This would be your breaker. If you're bearish on dollar, then you would anticipate this run on the buy side liquidity and then displacement lower, but it didn't displace below this low. So if you're bearish and you're thinking, oh, here's a bearish breaker, you didn't get displacement down here. It started to, and had this candle closed bearish, then you could have had a potential breaker block, but this candle didn't close and displace below that low. So currently, no. The breaker you're most interested in, is, if you're bullish, is down here, because this is the one that grabbed liquidity. Grab sell side liquidity, and then you moved up. And so where did this move start? It started on these two down close candles right here. Push it down. We run it up to run out liquidity, and then we move higher. So your breaker would be down in here if you're bullish. If you have a bearish bias, then you would want to see this sell side liquidity get run and then displacement lower here. And then that would be your breaker, but it hasn't done that. So again, I see nothing there. Nuts, man. This is what gold does to you. It could just as likely do this all the way back down. Come down, whip up, whip down. This is why I gave up the gilded gal. This is just kind of gross. It's just the daily time frame. You have an obvious equal highs above you. We've just filled in this for a value gap. Yesterday took out Friday's low, and then we retraced. I mean, this does not look like great trading environment here on AU. Very rangy. Currently in about 50% of that range. You got some nice equal highs up here on the 30-minute time frame. I don't see anything here that's clean. There's been no displacement. This is the displacement, which means your breaker, this move, where did this liquidity grab here? It's a tiny nothing candle in the Asian session, or at the end of yesterday's session. Yeah, there's just nothing here on AU that I see that is clean. If you were bearish, you would have wanted to see this run on buy side and then displacement lower, but it didn't. Tapped into sell side, didn't really do much. Finally moved up. I would not use this as a breaker. And there's nothing in here that shows that liquidity was grabbed and then displacement away. So yeah, nothing on AU. GJ respecting this level here. Here's your 30-minute breaker. Your run on liquidity started up here. I mean, it began back down here. These down close candles ran liquidity, trying to get displacement through there. And we'll see. Gold, man. I don't know why y'all voted gold. We got to look at this all week. Chat pair. Next week, y'all need to pick a pair that doesn't use and abuse us. I'll put whatever pair up there to watch. This is the analysis. So far, that stop's holding. That breaker's holding. Fair value gaps are holding. But if you took that trade, you would be looking to move to break even, probably down inside this fair value gap, the low of this candle potentially. If you're in that gold trade. Did anybody take that gold trade? Because you're more brave than I am. US 30 today. Only that it's just choppy right now. It's grabbed some liquidity. It's currently moving lower. It's got clear sell side liquidity in its sights. It's been super bullish. It just consolidates, moonshot, consolidate, moonshot. So is today going to be another consolidation, grab liquidity, and then moonshot potentially? I definitely would not want to be short on US 30 because it's it's just ripping higher, and you don't want to try and step in front of a moving train. You need to, if it's going to pull back, you're going to want to see a pullback, a come up, a fail to make a new high, and then a retrace, or at least a healthy retrace back down into some of these levels. But I don't want to try to call a top here, even though it's taken out some an old swing high. I'm not ready to call a top there. So if anything, you're going to be looking for sell side to get run and then displacement higher. So that's you're drawing liquidities down here, and then if it wants to give you another one of these moonshots. The problem with US 30 is that it grabs, like here yesterday, it grabbed liquidity and then took off, and it just never gives you that pullback after it gives displacement and never comes back to give that second, that pause and go kind of effect. It just rips, and then it just bases, it consolidates, pauses, and then rips, and then pauses. It's not giving you any kind, after those rips, it's not giving you any kind of opportunity to get long there. So that's US 30. It's just, we're just waiting. DXY daily is heading up to the volume imbalance, which is around equilibrium. Yep. There's your volume imbalance, and this green line is your 50% level of the swing down, the impulse move down. So you've got a premium level above that green line, and we're still in a discount, and so we want to wait. And if we're going to sell it, we want to sell it when it's in a premium. So that drawn liquidity, I think, is where the dollar is headed. Gold hit that fair value gap very nicely. I did not take the trade because to me it seemed that liquidity had already been taken. Correct. Also, another reason I did not call it is it had already grabbed this sell side liquidity down here. This low took out this sell side liquidity, and you had that aggressive reaction once that sell side liquidity was taken. So that's one reason I did not call the trade. Also, it's gold, and it scares the crap out of me. Raja took that gold sell live, and he's just made $28,000, allegedly. Peter's Raja trading support and resistance. He has some kind of weird system that he trades. I say weird. It's not all trading systems could probably be called weird, but he does a little bit of support and resistance. He identifies wicks and he identifies resistance. He identifies, if the last candle closed up, what is the potential that the next candle is going to close up? And so if this candle closed up and then this candle started leaving a wick, he would just set a buy order at the top when it breaks that candle. So it would be leaving a wick here as it opens, and then he would set a buy order at the top, assuming that it's going to leave a wick and reverse and then continue on bullish like the last candle was. So, but it's also built around where the wicks are, where resistance is. I don't understand it completely. That's just a very basic understanding of Aussie dollar on the 15. We just looked at that. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. We grabbed liquidity here. We started to displace, and now this candle has, the very next candle has pulled back in, so there's nothing there. This is not a valid breaker here. You would have needed that candle that just closed, you would have needed it to close up and not back inside that breaker. At least from my system. So GJ did close down here, this 30-minute breaker. We ran liquidity. I'm going to need this 30-minute candle. I want to see this 30-minute candle leave behind this fair value gap and close underneath that breaker. Then you could get a rip up into there and come lower, but we're going to need to see how that 30-minute candle closes. Who is Raja? Raja is he is a guy who owns his own broker. Some people say he's a little scammy. Some people say that he manipulates because he owns the broker. He can make his MT4 screenshots basically say whatever he wants. But he does live trade. He does live stream almost every day. Not every day, but a lot. And he trades gold mainly. And Rasha Banks. But yeah, he's a pretty polarizing figure in the trading world. People either love him or hate him, much like ICT. People either love him or hate him. He is a brilliant marketer and brilliant influencer. Like he knows how to build a following and he knows how to market it. But he basically hates prop firms. He wants you to use his brokerage. So he just is constantly pushing the broker that he owns. What I think about NU, we can look at NU. It's probably looking a lot like AU, just super choppy. Taking out the buy side liquidity, we've pulled back pretty aggressively. Filled in that imbalance. Right in the middle of all of this chop of the range there. So we've had let's see, the 4 hour. Grabbed this liquidity we're pulling off of it. Come back up into this order block. Rebalance this order block's holding. Grab liquidity, displacement away. You've come back into this is the fair value gap off of this displacement leg. This is the down, I'm sorry. You're not getting displacement higher. You've grabbed sell side. Now you've grabbed buy side. This would be if you're bullish, this would be the breaker that you're looking for, but you failed to have displacement. Technically, you could use this small little breaker down here. This little up move initiated this run into liquidity, and then you've displaced higher. So you could, if you're bullish, you could look at it like that. If you're bearish, you've run liquidity here. You're going to need displacement back below these lows to get your breaker. Again, when you ask me to look at a chart, I'm going to talk you through the way I see it based on the strategy that I'm using right now for the 10K to $2 million funding challenge. So you have to be aware that I don't know what your system is. I'm just talking it out loud through what I see with the breaker block and fair value gap strategy, where we're looking for runs on liquidity and then displacement away. So if you see displacement, did that displacement come from a run on liquidity? If it did, where did that run on liquidity begin? Well, it began back there. And so there's your breaker, there's your fair value gap. And that's kind of what you're looking for. Now, on a higher time frame, I would still use that 30-minute. 1 hour. Yeah. I still think that's where your breaker is if you're going to be bullish here. But NU and AU are they're not trending. They're just moving sideways. So they both don't look super clean. Even on the 4-hour time frame, you're right in the middle of this huge box. Right? So wherever you want to, if you want to say that's the box, and it grabbed liquidity a couple times, but you're right in the middle of that box. Like, it's just super choppy. So which way does it go? Does it go to the top of the box from here or to the bottom of the box from here? On the 4-hour, you're in a downtrend. I don't know. It's kind of a crapshoot to me on what you're looking for on AU and NU right now. But that's your breaker currently on NU. It would be back down here. Oh, hey Dominic, welcome in. Who's better, Roger or Patrick? Brad Banks. I do not want to be called Brad Banks. But I appreciate the humor. His broker is clearly the best. Why else would someone push something so aggressively? Well, it's the best when you can go back and make a trade look amazing by manipulating the MT4 server that you own and that you control how price delivers on. So, I mean, why would you not want to push that? Yeah, his chat is brutal, man. He just rips people constantly on his chat. But that's his shtick, man. His little gimmick is to be arrogant and super cocky and make fun of bad traders. And I don't have the stomach for that. I feel like there's enough. I mean, he's the reason that most people think you can get rich quick in this business. He's one of the reasons for that. And so personally, I'm not a huge Raja Banks trading fan. He is a marketer that knows how to be controversial, and in being controversial, he gets massive social engagement, which increases his following, which increases his ability to profit off of that. So, just from a pure trading perspective, does he have a system he can trade? Probably. Is it as profitable as he says it is? Probably not. And there's just been a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just I don't want to tear people down. I don't want to be popular for being a jerk. That's just not kind of how I want to be known. I would rather be known for being the guy that is helpful and encouraging. I can be firm and I can tell you the truth, but I'm going to do it in a way that builds you up and not tears you down, hopefully. So that's kind of what I want the Venator brand to be, is not just a bully. That's what I want. I don't want the Venator brand to just be a bully. So I want it to be a builder, not a bully. I want to build people up. I want to show you that it's possible to do this, and it's not get rich quick. It requires a massive amount of self-discipline and patience. But that's really what I want to be about. GU is not moving. EU grabbed some liquidity, came back, has fell to make a new low. So yeah, dollar also fell to make a new high. GJ still falling down. If this 30-minute candle closes and leaves this fair value gap open, we may have a nice setup here on GU. Tap into that. I would still probably... God, that is such a high. Maybe just above the order block there. That could be a potential a GJ play there. Venator Banks, I see, thanks. How is it not illegal in some way to trade with your own brokerage? It's just not. It's just not, I guess. It's not regulated. Like it's an unregulated broker. So you can do whatever you want when you're not regulated. He just created a broker, and there's no regulation for it. There's no oversight for it. So you can do whatever you want. Raja knows best way to make money is creating an emotion tornado in the trading community. Basically, yes, that's his whole gimmick. And people fall for it. How many people are watching his stream? A couple thousand? I mean, there's usually well over 1,000 people on his live streams. Because he is polarizing and controversial. And people think, oh, he just made $30,000 live. And I'm just going to trade with him and I'm going to make $30,000 live. Daddy Juliana, sorry I'm late. No worries. Welcome in. John Jones, that's exactly what Patrick Whelan does. It sounds like they are very similar. They are very similar. Patrick is, I don't know. I get a different vibe from Patrick. He is super cocky and arrogant. And that's a little bit of his like public persona is I'm going to be the cocky, arrogant guy. And I don't think Patrick's as big of a jerk as Raja. Of course, I haven't watched a ton of Patrick Whelan stuff. Patrick Whelan, for those of you who don't know, he trades the futures contracts on ES, NAS, Dow, that kind of stuff. I think he's mostly ES and NAS, but he live streams frequently, and he also is just very kind of a loud mouth, kind of foul mouth, super arrogant and cocky guy as well. But I don't know. I don't think he's quite the jerk that Raja can be. Raja just comes off as mean a lot of times. I don't know about anybody else, but when I see videos with Lambos and fancy houses, it's a red flag for me. Yeah, that's a big turnoff, man. It still draws a lot of people in. It sucks them into the game. It sucks them in. And it's not great. Look at gold coming down here. If you were in that gold trade, I said you should move to break even if it broke the low of that candle. And it did do that. If you were in that gold trade, you should have moved to break even right around there. All right, we're coming in to the getting close to the 9 o'clock hour here. We do have news. I think it comes out. When does that news come out? 9 a.m. Nope, 10 a.m. is the consumer confidence. $10 a.m. is the consumer confidence. So we'll watch and wait and see what kind of reaction we get off there. GU is not moving anywhere. Again, that 4-hour support is holding this 4-hour order block. This is the wick to the body of that big 4-hour order block right there. EU pushing lower. Dollars trying to climb. GJ is holding below these lows right here. Venator brokerage. I do not want to own a brokerage. Maybe Venator prop firm. Venator trading. Venator funding. That might be cool. That's a long, long way away. Yeah, Venator funding could be a nice brand. How many hats do you have there, Brad? So I changed. It was white hat. It was white Oakley hat since the beginning, but since we just closed out 4 weeks of drawdown, I needed a change. So we went with the kind of charcoal gray Oakley. We're gonna give it a go and see if we can get some better trading juju with the new hat. If this doesn't work, I may just go all Houston Astros because I've got a ton of Astros hats, and you know, they're the best. So why not? Thirsty FOMO farmer is trademarked. Is it really? Is that a Wieland? Is that a Patrick Wieland phrase? Thirsty FOMO farmer. 3 p.m. The time here is currently 1:50, so we're expecting the news by 3 p.m. White was not your lucky hat. I mean, it was lucky in that we made, let's see, we made 8, 11, we made 21% in the first 2 months with that white hat. And since then, we've made negative 6%. So it was good to get us started, but it has not been good to us since then. So we're just going with the gray hat now. It's fine. Oh, that's a John Jones. You trademarked it. I got you. Thirsty FOMO farmer. That's basically what Raja Banks does. That's a little bit of what Patrick does. Create FOMO. And did anybody see how many people were watching Raja's stream today? Let me see. I might be able to pull it up. We only got 31 likes on this stream right now. There's almost 50 of you in here. Do I have to create some FOMO so you'll like this channel? Where was I looking for? Oh yeah. Where's Raja? Is he live? Oh, he's done streaming. He had 4.8 thousand views on his live stream. And he has 234,000 YouTube subscribers. So he had almost 5,000 people watch his stream. We're not quite in the Raja Banks world of streaming yet, because we've got half of 1%. No, let's see. 5,000. So we have 50. What is that? I can't do math. Where's my math people? Cool tats. Oh, thanks, man. I just have the one. That's the only tat I've got. I got one tat. My wife is the tat person. She's got a bunch. She wants me to get more, but I just can't fall in love with anything else right now that I want permanently affixed to my body. So Gray will pay. I hope Gray pays. I hope it does. While we're waiting on some time here, don't forget, because of our new sponsorship, we get 15% off on all Bespoke Funding Program challenges, and you get an 85% profit split on those challenges. That is a fantastic discount. I do not charge you guys anything for being here on the stream. I don't want you to have to pay to get access to what we're doing here. But if you do want to support the Venator brand, you can. I highly recommend Bespoke. Obviously, we're partnered with them. I think they're a great prop firm. They have the best spreads that I've found. They have had zero slippage so far. Their commissions are $4 total for their Forex pairs. I think indices have no commissions. Of course, you can get over $2 million on their two-step, and then you can get another $2 million on their one-step. They're just a great firm. And if you're about to buy another challenge, use the code Venator. Use the code Venator to get a Bespoke discount code is Venator. That gets you 15% off and 85% profit split. It does go to help support the channel. If you want to take advantage of that, I would appreciate it. We get a small commission off of that if you use that discount code. And the more people that use that discount code, the longer our partnership with Bespoke will probably run, because obviously they want to partner with Venator Trading to hopefully increase their business as well. So I mean, that's kind of what sponsorships are all about. So definitely take advantage of that. It is a great discount. It's better than any discounts they have on their website right now that they're running for the rest of July. They don't have a better discount offer. That is, the Venator discount is the best Bespoke discount you can get currently. So take advantage of that. Of course, always go stick around. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, we will be drawing the 10K account winners, one each day. Metro, if you're still on here, if you can grab that pinned tweet and post that link in here, that'd be awesome. But if not, it's pinned to my Twitter profile. You can go and you need to like, retweet, and comment on that tweet to be eligible to win. And you do need to be present here in the stream each day to win the account. If we draw a name and they're not here, well, we know what happened last time. The chat said, screw those people, give us another redraw. And so that's what we'll do. We will redraw if they're not present. So you have to be present to win. So that's going to be happening every day the rest of the week, starting tomorrow. I can't remember what I said. 8 a.m. I think I said 8 a.m. We'll draw the winner. 8 a.m. New York time. So about an hour into the stream, we'll be picking a winner each day. So, you can hang out and try to win an account, or you can just use that discount code and purchase a challenge through them. Maverick says, is leverage okay on Bespoke for trading gold? I had a challenge 10K, but couldn't open a lot size higher than 0.4. Is this because of margin? So on the classic challenge, they offer 1 to 60 leverage. The classic challenge is the one that I use because you get 10% drawdown. And I have never had a problem with leverage. I've never gotten close to using my max leverage 1 to 60. That's a massive size. I don't know. I think it's 1 to 60 on gold too. Now they do have what they call their rapid challenge, which is still 8% profit for phase 1 and 5% profit for phase 2, but their drawdown is 8% instead of 10%. So you do get 1/100 to leverage on that account, but you have a little bit of a smaller drawdown to work with. So you just have to decide what's more important. Having a little bit, for me, I'd rather have a little bit more drawdown because I'm never going to use 1 to 60. I'm never going to max out the leverage on these trades. So 1 to 60 is fine with me, and I'd rather have that 10% drawdown. That allows me to do my 2% risk and stay above my max losing streak. No giveaway today. Correct. No giveaway today. We just put that up on Twitter, and it will be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So I posted it this morning. You have 24 hours to like, retweet, and comment on that Twitter post. And then we will draw tomorrow morning. And then we'll draw every day at 8 a.m. We'll pick a 10K account winner. Am I allowed to participate? Yes, anyone is allowed to participate in the new giveaway. Even you, Satria. You might win another one. Anyone can win. Chat went crazy. Which chat went crazy, Muhammad? On Raja or in here? ¿Por qué no los dos? I don't know what that means. What time zone? The New York time zone, Eastern time zone. So 8 a.m. New York time. So it's currently 9 a.m. New York time right now. That GJ trade on the 30-minute time frame, we did get a closure outside of the breaker, and you can see at the start of the hour, it's popped back up in there. I wasn't paying attention to this, sadly, but that might actually end up being a pretty nice trade today. It's too close to the entry for me to get it set up and get in there, so I'm not going to call that, but that is, had I been paying attention about 3 minutes ago, I might have set that up. But I was not paying attention. So it may just blow right through there, but I do like how it displays through. It's held below it. There's your breaker. Nice fair value gap inside of there. You have a draw on liquidity below those targets. So I'm not going to call that as a trade because it's just, I don't want to jump in because I see it wicking up real fast. I hate getting pushed into a trade by a fast candle movement. I want to be able to talk myself through it, and I just wasn't paying attention to that 30-minute close right there. But that could be a nice entry. I'm not going to call it as a trade, though, for Venator. GU, EU dropping down, dollar trying to push up here at the top of the hour here. We'll see if it finally pops through. US 30 still caught in the middle here. Gold, if you had moved to break even, you might, depending on spreads, you might have gotten wicked out right there. Just depends on where your stop was, but looks like it's dropping back down. S&P giving you some displacement here. Here is your, again, it's going to be hard to call a top here on the indices, but you have run buy side liquidity, and I just would hate to get back in front of these moving trains. I really would. I still feel like the dollar is going to draw up in here to this volume imbalance. We hit 1,000? Did we really? I got to check that out. 1,004. Let's go. Let's go. We broke the 1K barrier on Twitter. That's pretty awesome. 2 months ago, I had 0 followers. And just over 60 days later, we just broke 1,000. So that's awesome. John says, you're the opposite of a thirsty FOMO farmer. You are the satiated strategist. I love the alliterations, John. Satiated strategy sage. I love it. It's awesome. What a boring day on GU. EU is trying to reach here and potentially break through. If we got some displacement, then you've got a nice little breaker block potentially to work with. I think it was the Rapid. Is that the one more leverage? Yeah, Rapid has 1 to 100 on the giveaway day. Yeah, the chat was going crazy when we did the giveaway. It was awesome. That was a fantastic day. That's why I was really hoping you guys would pick to do all 3 accounts on the same day like we did last time. Just because the drama and the entertainment value was fantastic. Specify the time zone. Okay, I'll go back and edit that. Metro, can you grab that link, that Twitter link from that post and put it in the chat? We'll allow you to do that. 1 p.m. GMT. It could be. I don't know what GMT time zones are. I'm sorry. Finally, things are moving. Tribe is growing. It is growing. It is growing. Hopefully, through our sponsorship, we'll get more and more people showing up over here, get some more exposure. We're going to have accounts to give away, so it will definitely draw in more people to hopefully participate with us and stick around just beyond trying to win a free account. So failing to displace below this low here. Dollar failing to take out that high. Gold still chopping around. S&P has taken out. So if you're looking at S&P, you have a couple ways to look at this on the S&P 500. You've got this down move. So this would be your breaker, traded up through, grab liquidity. That was the London high. And since then, we failed to make a new high. And now we have displaced down below this low here. So if this candle closes strong bearish, you do have a potential short trade. But like I've said all week and last week, trying to call a short on these indices scares the crap out of me right now because of how bullish they've been. So are they due for a retrace? Well, you know, the S&P and the NAS haven't been quite as bullish as US 30, but you could see why you would think it may want to roll over. It's grabbed the liquidity where it's at. It's grab this liquidity. It hasn't taken out that high. Let's grab this liquidity. But we're definitely in an uptrend. And so if you try to call a counter trend right here, you're asking for trouble, in my opinion. It's failing to displace higher. You do have on the 4 hour a nice little draw on liquidity with these relative equal lows down here. And it has taken out the relative equal highs overnight. So potentially, whoops, sorry about that. Potentially, you do have some nice sell side liquidity down there. It's in a super heavy chop zone. I just don't like going counter trend trade here. Here come the pups. It's about that time. A little late today. Good morning. Oh. I really hesitate to call that counter trend trade here. But this would be your breaker on the 30-minute. And if you drop down to a 15, you probably want to extend that down to like right there. Tiny little fair value gap right there, and then another one up above it. So I just would be super cautious trying to get short here on any of the indexes. There's really just no other setups developing right now, y'all. We do have the news that comes out in another hour. I'm probably not going to stick on the stream that long. Probably another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then we'll call it a day here. What are we up to on YouTube? 664. We're getting close to the bad number. Did anybody go pull up a 3-hour stream and watch it so we can get our watch hours up? Somebody said they were going to do that last night, but I don't know if anybody ever did. Dollar's really wanting to break that high. Oh, GU not wanting to play along. That GJ trade did get tapped into right there. So interesting to see how that's going to play out. Again, I wasn't paying attention to that 30-minute candle close. And then when it opened, by the time I remembered to go look at it, it was already near entry, and I'm not going to chase price and get that FOMO entry going. So it may work out and be a great trade. It fits the criteria: run liquidity, displace through fair value gap inside of the breaker. But I'm not going to call that just because it was too much of a quick move there. Need to do a big giveaway to 1,000 subs. Yeah, maybe I can reach out to Bespoke and see if they would be up for doing a big giveaway. They're giving me a pretty healthy amount of accounts to give away every single month. So we'll be giving accounts away every week from here on out. As long as our partnership lasts with them, at least, we will be giving accounts away. At least one per week. maybe more. I set 5 going before I went to. Hey, Mr. Alfie, look at you pulling up 5 videos before you went to bed. I need to go check. I need to go check our hours. Let me see what our view hours are up to on my YouTube Studio page here. Let me see. Go to analytics, watch hours, last 90 days. We are at 2,700 watch hours. So 2,700 watch hours. So we've got another 300 watch hours to go to get back, or to get to be eligible for YouTube monetization. So hey, GU's finally starting to move a little bit. Look at the dollar pump. EU getting displacement. Did we just get news? Why is that pumping so hard? The dollar's pumping, the gold's not. That is quite an aggressive move up, reaching for that our draw on liquidity for this volume imbalance here. Man, GU is not following through on that big, huge dollar pump. This 4-hour order block is definitely holding. EU is dropping very rapidly. Very interesting. That is a big old pump. Kenneth says, I did my tablet stays at home, so I left it streaming and then left. It went through like 6 hours. You guys are awesome. Just keep doing that. We need 300 more watch hours. And we can get that YouTube monetization kicked in. That'd be awesome. Just open old stream, then put it on mute. Got on with my day. That's the way to do it. Look at you guys, man. That's the way to do it. Just open it. Don't even have to listen to it. Just let it run. Pump those analytics. I ran it on my laptop before going to sleep, but my battery died. Get that charger in, man. Yeah, DXY, dude. Pumping up. Reaching into our daily volume imbalance right here now. We're back into the OTE of our daily level. So we're back into a premium. Oh no, I guess the OTE is up here. It's a little bit higher into this breaker. So our next interest, if we can push through that volume imbalance, this inverted fair value gap right here is what I'll be interested to see how price responds to that, if we can reach up that high. Pound is definitely still showing a lot of strength, not wanting to go any lower. Euro pretty much following the dollar pump. But you can see it's tapped right up into that volume imbalance there. I do have a loyal fan base. I say this all the time to you guys, man. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the way that you guys consistently show up and watch and learn and participate in the chat. I love the community that we're building. It really is. It's as good as it is because you guys are here. And so I can't thank you enough, honestly, for helping Venator Trading get as far as it has, as quickly as it has. It's really because of you guys. So And I'm glad that we were able to lock down a sponsorship and get more benefits for the community. So the discount, the giveaways, all for you guys to help you guys in your trading careers. So, and that's just the culmination of you guys showing up here every day and helping the stream grow. So thank you for that. AU and GU slowly pushing down. Dollar going nuts. It is going nuts. The NU trade I showed you pulling back into that breaker down here. It's getting close to that entry. I'm not calling this. It's not part of our watch list, but I think Corey was looking at NU. This is where I would look at NU here. If you're wanting to, if you think the dollar is going to reverse off of that now, is this the high of the week? Potentially, it could be. It could be the high of the week there, or somewhere around here this morning. But that's how I would look at. If you're bullish on NU, this is the breaker you're looking at. But the pound is just showing a lot of resilience against that dollar push, both on GJ and on GU. It's showing no willingness to take out sell side. None at all. Let's see. EU has tapped into this 4-hour order block right here. Completely filled in that volume imbalance. We're well into a discount now on the daily time frame. OTE level still a little bit further down. It has completely, let's see, the high of this candle is 10263 and the low of this candle is 10265. So to the pip, almost to the pipette, it has completely rebalanced this buy side imbalance here. If you think the dollar is going to push, continue to push, there is your EU breaker block. Ran liquidity, displays through. You obviously have a very large fair value gap being created currently. Of course, this candle still has about 10 minutes left, but with the potentially a setup there on EU. The thing that would make me be cautious about this, again, is that we're in the discount of the daily. GU it's starting to push a little bit, but currently not showing really much of any displacement down. US 30 is tapped into the sell side that we identified earlier this morning. This is where US 30 has just taken moonshots almost every day for the last 2 weeks. It grabs a little bit of sell side liquidity and then just moonshots up. So be interesting to see how that responds here in about 9 minutes with the 9:30 open. Gold still just meandering around after that quick whipsaw. I wished you weren't giving anything away tomorrow. I won't be around tomorrow or Thursday. One of my twin daughters has college orientation at Missouri State. Well, it's okay, John. I wish you could be here, but we will do it on Friday, and we'll be here. We'll be doing giveaways next week too. So just hang in there. You can always pull up the stream. Are you driving? Like you can't watch because you're going to be driving, or you're actually going to be at orientation while the stream's going on. Twins, man. Ugh. Twin girls, too. God bless you. Dollar CAD is pumping. Boop, boop. So there was your pump up, run, displace tire. It never came back into your breaker block there. This run up, ran liquidity, displaced above it, held above that breaker, never gave you an entry. Just pumped. Dollar still climbing pretty hard. I hope that for us is the low of the week, both. Well, you can't beat every stream. I appreciate you wanting to be here, but your chance to win, you still have a lot of chances. You have one on Friday, and then, like I said, we'll be giving away accounts every week. So, yeah, Muhammad, that it did not get an entry on the dollar CAD, unfortunately. That's the way it goes. US 30 pushing down now pretty good into this sell side. So again, the last several days over the last week and a half, it runs down into this sell side and then just rockets off. S&P also grabbing sell side. NAS tapping into sell side. So we'll see how the indices respond here with the open coming up in about 6 minutes. We'll stay on for another about maybe 10-15 minutes here, and then we'll probably call it for the day. Man, I wish I would have gotten that screenshot on the 1,000 Twitter followers. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm kind of stoked about that. I never would have thought 2 months ago that I would have 1,000 Twitter followers already. Never would have thought it. Dollar about to close in that volume imbalance there. US 30 pushing back up after grabbing that sell side right there. Again, this is your breaker, but so choppy. Reaching into sell side liquidity. I cannot take myself seriously trying to call a reversal there. Adrian says, if I win, I'm donating to the first person who viewed your channel because I already have 4 accounts. Man, Corey's got a lot of fans in here. Jack, I haven't seen Jack in here in quite a while, at least this week. Jack on the last giveaway was trying to win, and he said he was going to give it to Corey. Adrian now also stepping up and saying if he wins, he's donating it to Corey as well. Corey getting a lot of love in here for being the first viewer on the stream and sticking around to this day. Corey has a funded account, y'all. I'm sure he'd happily take another challenge, a free challenge account. But he's funded right now. Like, he has a funded account he's trading on. So, and he did it all by himself. I would like to say it's because he was in here for the last 2 months and he finally got it straight. I'll let him speak to that. But he got funded because he decided to start trading the right way. And I would like to think that we've had some kind of influence on him to get over that hump. Maybe we'll do, maybe when he gets a payout, after Corey gets a payout, maybe we'll do an interview with Corey, our first viewer, and we'll put it up on the YouTubes for everybody to get to know Corey a little bit. I hope that if the winner is funded, donate it to someone funded. That will be awesome from you all. Let me reread that. I don't understand what you're saying. I hope that if the winner is already funded, that they would donate it to someone not funded. Potentially. Whoever wins, they're free to do with that account as they want. If they want to give it to someone else, that's all within. Dude, generosity. The more generous you are, the better it's going to be for you in life. So I'm all for passing it along and handing it back down to someone else. So, but I mean, the rules are you just got to be present to win, and if you win, that's your account. You can do whatever you want with it. If you want to pass it off to someone else, or if you want to use it, there's no, if you already have an account and you win another one, I'm not going to be angry at you if you try to use that challenge account. That's your account. Like, that's the giveaway. So there's no pressure to have to give it away if you win it. You want it fair and square. Interviews would be kind of cool. I agree, man. Once we can get some of you, maybe if we can get some of these giveaway account winners, if we can get them funded and get to payouts, that'd be a good interview. Or if there's just people in here that were struggling to pass, and then after sitting in the stream for a little while, they got funded and got a payout, that'd be a good interview too. So I'm all for that. I'm all for to keep building this community. It takes all of us to do it together, and the more everyone sees someone else reaching profitability, the more encouragement it is to them to continue on with that as well. So all for that. All right, here we go with the 930 open. For the indexes, they opened and pushed up. NAS pushed up pretty strong. S&P pushed up, and US 30, after grabbing that liquidity, continued to push. Brad couldn't agree more. Helping others out is a true sign of the quality of person you are. Sunday's church lesson was, man's applause means nothing if God's arms are folded. 100%, man. This is about, we're all in this together. This is not a competition. That's the one thing about this business, is that we're not in competition with each other. We're all heading in the same direction. So it behooves us all to continue to encourage each other, help each other, pray for each other, and just support each other as much as we can. That's really how we're going to all get there. That's right. It is not a competition. It is cooperation. Nas giving a nice little pump there. S&P not pumping as hard and wanting, seems like it wants to push down a little lower. US 30s dug into that sell side liquidity a little bit more. Again, I would not be looking to try to go short here on any of these indexes currently. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And this will be a long journey. That is a great... Muhammad, did you just make that up? Did that just come off the top of your head? Or that sounds like a... That sounds like some kind of famous motivational quote. But I love it. I might steal that. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That is 100% accurate, my friend. It doesn't matter how fast you get there. It just matters that you get there. And if you want to go far, find the right community and just dig in. Put your roots down and be there for each other. It's kind of what we're all about. Nas is pushing hard. That's a quote, and it came on mine just now. I was gonna say that sounded like it's a brilliant, well thought out way to say that. So I don't feel so bad when I steal it later. If it's already out there and existed before. I was gonna give you credit if it was you. I would have just been like, hey, yeah, one of my followers said this today. He's brilliant. What was the closest you've ever come to drawdown percentage? Well, I've failed a ton of accounts. I have failed over 30 challenges. So I've blown a ton of challenges, which means I hit all the drawdown breaches. I've lost funded accounts. But currently, my max losing streak is 4. And so 8% is as far as I've gotten. Oh, if I hit, if the next trade that we find and take loses, then we will hit our four loss max streak. At that point, I will reduce my risk down to 1% per trade. And I still have 2% total to work with on drawdown. And if I could, if I win a couple of those, we'll be back up, and then I can increase my risk back to 2%. But currently, we're basically only like halfway to drawdown, so we've only used about half of our drawdown, just a little more than half. So we're fine. It's not a big deal. We just stay patient and we just keep hunting our setups. Nas is reaching up in here to that buy side. S&P is not taken out that same high yet. Gold back to basically break even on that trade. US 30 has taken out sell side and now it's currently pushing up pretty aggressively. GJ still hanging around entry there on that breaker block and that fair value gap. But pound overall is very strong. We've tapped into the sell side here, and if we get some displacement above, this might be where you can see the dollar pulling off pretty heavily now off of that volume imbalance. This could be your turn of events here. Again, I don't want to go short here on EU. We're already in a discount. I'm waiting for a change of character here on the lower time frame. We've rebalanced this area. We've pulled back into a discount from this big move up. It could push down a little bit further into this OTE, but this order block currently reached to about 50%, the consequent encroachment of that order block right there. So we'll see what kind of reaction we get after grabbing this. Quite the aggressive reaction off of that volume imbalance there. An African proverb. Cool. I just turned 18. I used to be in sales. Being a non-native English speaker and young, I had to face a lot of challenges. Everyone was so old and doing so great in my team, so I needed the confidence. That's why I used to read this quote. You just turned 18. Wow. I feel old. Oh. Well, your English is very good here on the chat, so. It's a great quote. I love that quote. You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. Great quote. Once we get to YouTube monetization, we can attach a merch store. I would love to know, number one, if you guys would buy merch, and number two, what kind of merch would you want to buy from Venator Trading? Has anyone ever felt like non-American teenagers are built different? I do. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Corey's just turned 20. So he was just a teenager, but I think Corey just turned 20. And he's now has a funded account. But yeah, I see a lot more stronger work ethic in students outside of the US in general. That's not everyone. That's just a big, broad, general statement. But yeah, I think back to when I was 18 and would I have been able to do this? I don't think I could have. I was so immature and lacked so much discipline. I don't think there's any way I would have been able to be successful and profitable in this business when I was 18 or 19 years old. I wish that I would have been introduced to it back then. I just don't know that I would have had, again, the maturity level to handle all this. I'm again in entry on GU, sitting at entry after 3.5 hours getting in the trade. Yeah, GU is super choppy, but could be a nice buy here from this 4-hour order block. It's grabbed some sell side liquidity. If we get displacement above this high, we could have a nice little reversal trade for GU. The gold trade, if you were in it, would have been a break even, definitely right there. S&P is trying to push up. NAS has fallen back off of grabbing that buy side liquidity there. NU touched the breaker. It just touched it and then ran away. It did not dig into that fair value gap at all. Unfortunately, Corey, if that's what you were waiting for, that would have been a beautiful entry, but just didn't come down far enough. I was trading stocks at 18. Good Lord. I was, what was I doing at 18? I was playing basketball and going to prom and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Stocks and investing, money was just something I needed to go on a date and put gas in my car. That's as far as I could think of for money when I was 18. I'm 36. I feel I'm an OG. Yeah, I'm 48. I come from 25 years of teaching and coaching 16 to 18-year-olds. Well, you probably have a pretty good feel for the overall work ethic for that age group. GJ falling off of that, respecting that fair value gap nicely here on GJ. Again, I would have called this stupid, man. I wasn't paying attention to the time. And had I seen that candle close outside the bearish outside that breaker, I would have called this trade right here on GJ. But by the time I saw it, it was already at entry, and I'm not going to chase price like that. That's unfortunate. I feel like people in Asia have a crazy steady work ethic, but it also leads to high suicide rates, so give and take. For sure. I mean, when you find your identity in performance, and then that performance, you can't perform at the level that's expected of you or that you put on yourself, it can cause quite a bit of personal distress. And that goes for anything in life. Your identity is not your performance. How you perform is not your identity. You have to find your identity outside of that. For me, I find it in my faith. I'm not a day trader. That's not my identity. My identity is completely based on my faith. And so, and again, I'm not here to proselytize anyone. I'm just telling you, you're going to be miserable if you put all of your value and worth in the way that you perform. You're eventually going to let yourself down, and it's going to shake your world. So you cannot find your value and your worth in your performance. It's a false god. It cannot fulfill you. It cannot make you happy. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do. You've got to find your value and identity in something higher and outside of yourself. Muhammad, people here are really focused on studying, but that's not for me. For the past 5 years, I've been jumping from train to train to figure out what's for me. I think I might have found one. Trading is a great train, and it's okay. A lot of people jump from train to train until they figure it all out. Corey, that's amazing. You're unique. At that age, I was trying to avoid farm chores. My thoughts were on cruising with friends and not much. That's the same way I was, John. It was just get to the weekend. Get to the weekend. See if the dollar wants to turn around here. This would be where it wants to, this order block. It's reaching into this bullish order block right here. It's just tapped into the wick here. If it wants to go higher, this is where it's going to want to turn off of this 15-minute fair value gap. If it wants to go lower, it's probably, you might just see it try to push up one more time and then roll over. But I think that's about all we're going to have for today. I'll just give a shout out to our sponsor one more time, Bespoke Funding Program, the official sponsor of the $10K to $2 million funding challenge. Grateful for the way that they help and support this stream. Use that discount code Venator to buy any challenge, 15% off, 85% profit split. Tomorrow we will be giving away one 10K account to Bespoke Funding. So make sure you go over on Twitter, like that post. It's pinned on my Twitter profile. I'll retweet it later today as well, but just make sure you like, retweet, and comment on that Twitter post. And then we will draw our first 10K account winner tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. here on the live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. And I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Happy hunting. And we'll see you back here on the live stream tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We'll catch you later.